Hello there and welcome to the Brassettes podcast number 6. In this episode I'm chatting to Dr. Deanna Swoboda, who is an Associate Professor of Music at the Arizona State University, where she teaches tuba, euphonium and music entrepreneurship. She's a former tuba player with Dallas Brass and creator and performer of band Blastoff. Deanna is a past president of the International Tuba and Euphonium Association. She's also an Eastman Music Company tuba artist and has commissioned over 30 compositions for solo tuba and chamber music. Recordings include Deanna's Wonderland, Shamanic Journey, Table for Three, Fanfare and Flourish, Games for Brass and most recently, Identity. Deanna is also a member of Athena Brass, who have recently performed at the Royal Northern International Brass Band Festival in Manchester in January.
Thanks for reaching out to IWBC, to Lauren. And I just thought, well, what a nice opportunity to chat with someone and with you. You know, I love what you're doing. I've been looking at the Brassettes and listened to the podcast you sent. It's so nice. Gosh, Carol Jarvis is just an amazing.
It's very new. Our Brassettes is very new. We only really started at the end of November, beginning of December. So I've only really published 3 podcasts up to now. So but I just thought it's a good thing to do, because I just think it's nice to put a spotlight on individual people, just to get their stories out there, because so many fantastic stories. And
yes.
I just think that's it, isn't it? And I am a bit of, I love to chat anyway. I think that's it. So, and I just thought, I've had the idea for ages, but I just thought, I'm just going to go for it.
It's great. It's great. Well, congratulations. And congratulations to the band too. The Tease.
These components, yes.
That's so exciting. It sounds like it's reforming and growing.
Oh, yeah, it is. So that's the group. Yeah, so we've got about 15 players. So yeah, it's really, we've had a year now of being a group, and the sponsor said we could use the music on our Brassettes podcast, which is amazing because it's an original piece of music. So it's our little group that you hear, but it was a live recording at the bandstand at Saltburn, so you can hear the birds and stuff.
That's amazing. Yeah, I love it. I just love it.
But I think that's it, isn't it? We're just going with it. We're just right, we're putting it together and it's happening, isn't it?
Right.
Oh, so I've wrote loads of notes here, Deanna, because dear me, you do so much, don't you? Another, like the other week when I spoke to Carol, I'm feeling a little bit like that again. There's so many different things to talk about,
Yeah. It's just, it's exciting. I love talking to other women brass musicians as well, because I think, for our whole lives, well, for my whole life, much of my life, being the only girl, the only woman in the brass section, and then you meet other people and it's like, wow, there's this whole other world out there that you start to feel empowered and connected and inspired, and
that's just the thing, isn't it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's because I play flugel, you see, I play flugelhorn, and this is why we got our Brassettes together, really, because we all sort of met up in this big march that we do in Durham. And it was all the girls from all different bands that we've played in. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It was fantastic. We had such a buzz, and I think that was it. And we said, we're going to keep meeting up, and then we're going to keep obviously sharing stories, because it's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Everybody juggles so many things to keep playing in bands and to keep playing music.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's
Isn't
amazing.
It?
That's the connection too with the International Women's Brass Conference. It's I first was involved when I was in college, and I attended the conference, and it just opened my mind and my world and my inspiration. And so, yes, what you're doing is so important. And I'm starting to think about, I wonder where we can meet with that too. I think that there are some exciting possibilities of the Women's Brass Conference and the Brassettes and all the
Yeah.
things we're doing, how we bring those worlds together.
That's the thing, because when I first started out, I was only really doing it with people, only really interviewing people I knew in the Northeast. Do you know what I mean? But then all of a sudden, it's like, we'll have, come on, everybody, it's going so, everybody's got such a buzz about it.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, isn't it? So yeah, I think so. Because I was looking at the conference, because that's going to be coming up in May, isn't it? Is it May?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep. It's in Hartford, Connecticut at the Hart School. And typically that conference happens every 2 years. It's back to back this year because we had one in Japan in the summer.
Right.
And then the conference felt like we had been out of the United States for like 3 years because of, COVID. Going international and wanting to bring it back so that we keep the presence, keep the presence. So it's feeling a little hurried, but it'll be a great conference.
Oh, that's fantastic. And what kind of levels is that then? Is it for all levels of playing?
Yeah. All levels of playing. And the founding group, the band that always typically closes the conference is the Monarch Brass Ensemble. And that's, I want to say like a 12-piece brass group that features all women brass players and music of women composers. And there's always new compositions, and it's really brilliant. It's beautiful.
Really exciting, isn't it?
Now, that includes Athena Brass Band as well is part of the conference. And even though Athena is a separate 501c3 nonprofit organization. And
I see.
We're including other groups, a new group called Chromatic Brass Collective, which is BIPOC women. And we're trying to bring our worlds together and
fantastic.
Collaborations, So.
Yeah, exactly, isn't it? That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. I think the thing is, anything with bringing people together is just, bringing us all together is just a fantastic thing to do anyway, isn't it? And like a lot of people, some of the ladies that I've been talking to, some of the things that have been said are like, we're all in separate bands and we're all just going along doing our own banding thing, but we don't know other people in other bands, or do you know what I mean? It's like, we don't have that. It's weird, isn't it? Like you do just, you're very, so these things like this open it up.
It's very separate and kind of siloed. You're all doing your own thing. And
exactly, isn't it? And then you're all going to contests and you're just sticking with your own band, but you're seeing people that you're familiar with, but like you might not get to chat to them. But I just think like if we can, it's lovely, isn't it, to just be able to introduce people. That's why we've got the forum, the group, because like people have been putting in there and having chats, and I just think it's, if we can do that, I've added you, haven't I? I sent you an invite, didn't I, to the group? You'll have to have a look, see what you think.
Thank you. I will.
Yes, because I just think that it's making people aware, making ladies aware of everything that's happening so much.
Yeah.
And if I can help share it, then that's fantastic,
Yes. You're starting something really important. And I think it's just how it takes time to get things started and going, but it brings people together and creates new opportunities for everyone.
Exactly. And we're celebrating each other. And I think that's it, isn't it? And even if we can like inspire people to either keep playing or play, do you know what I mean? Or even start playing. I think that's it, isn't it? Because I've had a lot of my friends listening to my podcasts who are not interested in bands whatsoever. And they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that banding's like this. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah. Music brings people together. And then banding is another thing, another level of that. That's very
is, isn't it? Yeah, it really is, isn't it? Yeah, because you've recently been over in England, haven't you? And well, you were in Manchester, weren't you, with the Athena Brass Band?
Yes. Oh, it was an amazing trip. Playing with Athena in Manchester for the Brass Band Festival at the RNCM. And, first, like Manchester, what a beautiful city, the
Yeah.
people, food, it was so welcoming, and
Fantastic.
I just, enjoyed the trip so much. And I was fortunate to borrow a tuba from the RNCM. So I didn't have to
Oh,
with a tuba, as a
yeah,
large instrument player. That's a consideration, not only, cost, but having to lug it around all the time, which
exactly.
is my life. And I am, I feel blessed to have this life, but
Yeah.
carrying a tuba. If someone told me that I was going to have to carry a tuba through airports for the rest of my life, I might have chosen a different.
Oh,
Not really, because I love
bless you. Oh, so how long did you stay over for then? Because you did the weekend, didn't you, in Manchester, and then
Yeah.
you've done a bit of sightseeing, did you? Did you?
Yes. Yeah. It was about 10 days total.
Oh, lovely.
There we started Athena brass band rehearsed because Athena comes together in a different group every time it performs. It includes
I see.
different women, different players. And I've been fortunate to perform with the group 5 times. And so the group comes together. We met and rehearsed at the Eccles Band Room.
Yeah.
They were loaned their band facilities to us for the day, and we rehearsed for 8 hours that day, a few hours the next day, and then we had a concert in the community, and then performed at the festival, and it was just amazing. Performing the music
Fantastic.
of women composers, um,
Yeah.
featuring British composers, Norwegian composers, a composer from Canada, an American composer, but all women who have written for brass band, and just really,
Putting him in the spotlight. Fantastic.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah. I would
yeah.
have I would have liked to have gone actually, but I was poorly. I've had a chest infection for about 3 or 4 weeks.
Oh
I'm
gosh.
loads better now. I'm a lot better this week. But honestly, when all that was happening, I was just ill. So I was like, there's no way I could. But I did get, obviously, I was messaging people. I was like, oh, I was very excited.
Oh, that's great. Well, I'm so happy that you contacted.
Yeah, it's lovely to have you on here, because I've got a lot of notes here. Let me have a look then. So you were at the associate professor of music at Arizona State University.
Yes.
Let me have a
Yeah.
look.
Well, I've been teaching university, I've been teaching college for 20 years. I've been at
Mm-hmm.
Arizona State for 13 years now. It's hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
7 years prior to that, I was living in Michigan and teaching at Western Michigan. Prior to that, for 10 years, I was a touring musician, playing my tuba in a group called the Dallas Brass.
All right. Yeah.
I had also created a business called Band Blastoff. It was a band recruitment program for young
Oh,
students.
that's interesting. Yeah, yeah.
It was, and it was at that time, it was in the right time at the right place because it was kind of niche, and it was something that schools and music dealers were very interested in helping their business thrive and helping grow bands across the United States.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
I was touring about 300 days a year doing those things, for a total of about 10 years, playing solos with orchestras, community orchestras, and
Yeah,
bands, and teaching adjunct college. And then eventually, put roots down to be at a university in a university setting full time, which I
brilliant.
love.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it sounds interesting. So you were teaching, it's tuba and euphonium, isn't it, that you were
mhm.
specialising, but then also entrepreneurship, I saw. So
I do, yeah.
that's good, isn't it? Tell us about that then. So that's interesting.
Sure, yes. Well, my career, I think, has been very entrepreneurial,
Mm.
and creative, and finding opportunities, creating opportunities. I didn't at the time when I was doing those things, I didn't consider it to be entrepreneurial,
Mm.
but it definitely is. As musicians, the skill sets of business and marketing and
Yeah,
leadership and all of those things.
that's
So
right, isn't it?
uh,
Yeah.
So important if you're going to have lead a full-time music career in particular. I think as your guest on your podcast, Carol Jarvis,
Yeah,
so eloquently spoke about. And, we often call that a portfolio career, doing all of these things, or I like to refer to it as a hub and spoke career, where, we are the person at the center of the wheel and we have all of these spokes, these things, these skill sets and things that we can do. And then how we put all of those things together to create a career and thrive
brilliant. Yeah, see, that's it, isn't it? Yes, it's
yeah.
right, isn't it? Because like I've just started like managing our group, the Teeth Components Brass. So like it's just over a year, and the thing is, like my background is advertising, marketing, and I'm a graphic designer. So it's all that kind of, I'm creative, But the thing is, I'm always full of ideas, you see. So like, but I've never been like a manager of a band, you know what I mean? So it was like quite new, but I just thought, let's just give it a go. And it's amazing, isn't it, how many skills you need? It really is, isn't it? And even like dealing with people and like, and different personalities and organizing things. And because we have a really happy group, it is,
Yeah.
it's absolutely lovely, and I just think that is really, like my brother plays in it as well. And like, there's a lot of old friends that have come back together, and it's fantastic, isn't it? And I think that's it, isn't it? I'm, like we've been creative. It's like one of those things where I don't know, you get a buzz out of it, don't you? Because you think, I can do that. I'm going to do this. And, let's put this together. And yeah, it's great,
Yes. Yeah, I think it's a really important, an important piece of, well, I think in particular our music performance programs at the university or conservatory looking forward. So many of my students still come in as a first year student thinking that they'll win a job in an orchestra. And I think that's a possibility, but
Yeah.
with the state of just the arts, I think, especially in the United States right now, it's just different, and how we're looking at that and how we move forward. It's really important that students think beyond the practice room, be a great musician and hone your skills and create
Yes.
opportunities, but also think about and be aware of early on all the skills you need to succeed in
That's the thing, isn't it?
and all the skills that you have that you can continually push on.
Exactly, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, isn't it? Because it's well, one of the things that Carol Jarvis said last week was, like if you find if you absolutely love what you're doing, it doesn't feel like you're working, does it? Do
Right.
you know what I mean? And I think that is such an important thing to remember. I'm the same. Like I get really excited about things, and I have to, because that's how I work. I'm like, I love this. I have to. If you love it, I think that's it, isn't it? You need
Yes.
to be really interested. It's good. Yeah.
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 Yes, I was recently, well, for this semester, I was awarded a sabbatical at the university, which means I can let go of my teaching obligations.
Right.
And I'm practicing a lot and I'm traveling.
Brilliant.
And in context of that, you have to work on a project of some sort that's related to your teaching and your interests and such. And I'm working on a sort of a guide for students who are performance majors, combining entrepreneurial thinking and skills.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Sort of this idea of create, curate, innovate, connecting with their communities, creating opportunities, and putting together
Yes.
kind of something all in one place for those students, kind of looking to their future and
Brilliant. See, that's
it's slightly different, so that's exciting too.
That's it, isn't it? It's so important because the thing is, what I've noticed is rather than like waiting for somebody to book our group or like say, oh, do you want to, I'm sort of like trying to arrange things where I'm coming up with ideas and then approaching people and then saying, what about we do this? And would you like us? And then people, oh, I've never thought of that. Let's. And I think that's it, isn't it? It's coming up with ideas and new opportunities, really. And I think that's what we need to do, isn't it, with banding as well?
Right. Yes. Create the opportunities.
Create some opportunities. Yeah, really. Brilliant. So let's have a look. So you've commissioned over 30 compositions. That's amazing for solo tuba and chamber music.
Yes. I think with the tuba in particular, it's one of the youngest brass instruments, and we didn't have our first concerto until the 1950s. And so, continuing to develop the repertoire and meeting new composers and young composers. And, I think one of the things about it's an important relationship with composers because composers push the limits of our musicianship.
Yeah.
Musicians get better as a result, whether it's range or technique, and then the level keeps growing and growing. But having new compositions, tuba and electronics or tuba and horn, chamber music. I've commissioned several works for tuba and euphonium quartet, but always always a project.
I'll have to have a listen to them. Are you on Spotify at all, or how can I listen to your? Are they on your website? I'll have to have a look.
Yeah. Yes, I'll send you some links.
Is that all right? Because I'd love to do that. Because I'll have a listen. Because I know that there is some links on your website, isn't there? But
there are on YouTube and
on YouTube,
and isn't that funny? Because you ask, I don't listen to my own music.
You're not busy, playing and everything else. Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic though. So let's have a look. I've got a few more notes here that I wanted to. Oh, so you were a past president of the International Tuba and Euphonium Association as well. So how was that then? When you were?
That was a fantastic leadership opportunity.
Brilliant.
And I considered it an opportunity to develop community, to bring people together, and to really, I think, at that time of the organization, turn the business around into a positive direction. And it was good experience for me.
Yeah, I bet.
Right. Running a business, but also just working with tuba and euphonium colleagues from.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, being able to collaborate and just fantastic.
I hosted the International Tuba Euphonium Conference 2 summers ago.
Did you?
Yeah, at Arizona State University. So hosting recently hosted the International Women's Brass Conference as well. I love hosting conferences.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. That reason too, because I love bringing people together. 800 people, 800 brass players.
Amazing.
Come to your home and it's a big party.
Absolutely brilliant. So how did you get started in music then, Deanna?
I started as a clarinet player because my mom played clarinet and so I could try clarinet. But it was in grade 8 that I noticed we had a tuba in the back of our band room, but no one was playing. And the band director asked if someone would like to play. So I thought, I think I'd like to play. And then I noticed that if I played tuba, I would get to sit next to the boy that I had a crush on. He was playing the last year.
Fantastic.
So, it was really through love. And then I started to love the tuba. I realized that I was a tuba player than I was a clarinet player. And I recruited my friends to play baritone. And
did you? Oh, fantastic.
I made a social event. and then it was involved in everything music throughout school. I loved playing in everything, in the bands, the orchestras, singing in the choir.
Did you?
Then majored in music. I did 3 degrees in music performance, and just had really fantastic mentors along the way and great family support. I think those 2 things are most important, and the relationship relationships are everything along the way.
They are, aren't they? Yeah.
Who you meet, who you stay in contact with, who you are as a person, and just
That's right, isn't it? And I think that's it, isn't it? I just think it opens up so much, doesn't it? I know when I first started playing, like I started playing in the village band, and I think I was about 11 or 12, and it was just one of those things that, like, dear me, I'd never even thought of it, but then I'd gone along, and I was like, I love this, and I easily I was just hooked straight away, and then before you know it, you've got like your first thing. Oh, I want to wear the jumper,
Yes.
It's like you get really excited about little stepping stones that are like, I can always remember that. I was so proud. I was too small to wear a jacket, so I had like a little red jumper and my black dicky bow. I always remember that. And I think it was a carnival we played. Yeah, because I always remember that, because one of the horses that was in front bolted while we were marching, and like bolted over the fence.
Really? Oh, that's fantastic.
One of my very first jobs, yeah. But yeah, interesting, eh? It's funny, isn't it, how these memories just come back. But like all the people who you meet over these years, it's just like, it's amazing, isn't it? And there are a lot of friends, aren't there? And I think the thing is, when you're playing music, you create such, like, I don't know, the bonds that you create, aren't there? When you're working on a piece of music for a while, and I just think, it's like working up to a competition, and hard work, but it's
emotional.
It is, yeah.
As it involves the ego, and it involves personalities, and it involves communication, and like, for example, with Athena Brass Band, and working up a program for the festival in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And the letting go and trusting the person in front too. Jess Sneeringer, our director, is brilliant. She is so great at bringing people together, and she's such a great musician, and she works quickly, and it's go, go, go. And with many outstanding musicians in the room and professionals, you've got to let go and trust that leadership, and just so much that happens in that context when you're working on the details.
Yes, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Yes. Oh, what kind of advice would you give somebody starting out as a player?
Well, I think to sort of carry on what we spoke about earlier, and I think that you started was do what you love and love what you do.
Exactly, isn't it? Yeah.
And that music is really a pathway to success in life, wherever that takes you, wherever that ends up for you. But decide what you want and go after it. Practice, be a great musician, and tool up with other skill sets. Follow your passions.
Yeah.
As all of those things can come together into a life that you're thriving and you're happy, and we all define success in a different way, and music can be part of your success journey. And these are creative, skilled people and do many things. So
exactly, isn't it? Yeah, it's fantastic.
Love what you do. And,
exactly. Well, thank you so much, Deanna. It's absolutely fantastic talking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jo. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Our paths will cross again.
Absolutely, yes. We'll think of that. You've set me off thinking now.
Likewise.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. Lovely to meet you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you to Dr. Deanna Swoboda for taking the time to chat to me on our Brassettes podcast. And thank you very much for listening and watching this episode.